One day left, guys. Tomorrow is the big day. Are you ready? I'm still not. After 4 years of having this stuff and Damon begging me to make it, my late night project is his pillowcase. It's coming together. I mean, I just started it, but I figured out how to make it the way he wanted it, and me also not have to do these finger loop things that I despise. And it comes in a rainbow. So I'm using some scrap pink and some of my Hobby Lobby clearance. And yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. This would make really great dusters too. I mean, I'm just saying. But it's going to eventually be a pillowcase. Hey guys, it's Heather the Crochet Witch. How are you guys doing today on this lovely, beautiful October 30th, which makes it day 30 of Vlogtober and day 12 of the 13 days to Halloween. Tomorrow's the big day, you guys. Are you guys ready? I'm not ready. I'm both not ready with everything I want to get done, and I'm not ready to say goodbye. I mean, or to say hello to the new long wait for next year. Because I mean, I think we all know that November 1st, I start counting down again till next year's Halloween, but I don't want it to end, and I'm not ready. So announcement time. It's not really an announcement. It's just like kind of exciting news. Let me tell you about my day. Let's start there. And how was your day? How was your day? I do want to know. So, my day though. So I went today to the puppy parade as I had planned. My town is a very big, it's not big. The town itself is not big, but it is a very big tourist town. And even in like this time of year, we get a lot of people that hear about like our events that have been here through the summer and things like that, and we get them back again, especially if the weather's nice. And today the weather was nice. So, I mean, like this whole week it has been basically. So I knew there'd be a lot of people. And the puppy parade both started and ended right on the main street. It was supposed to be the puppy parade, things happening, like they were doing like judging of costumes and things like that at the parade route end, which was, like I said, it was really just a few blocks. I'm sure they didn't want the puppies to be like overwhelmed and everything. They basically were started at the dog store in town where I always got like Winston and Lindy and Abby their treats. They walked a couple blocks and crossed the road, and there's like kind of a mini park there. And that's where they were all like convening so that people could like take pictures, and judges could, I'm sure there was judging costumes if I remember right. So they were walking around, that kind of thing. I didn't get any footage because, okay, so the events were supposed to be that. And then, what our city was calling the candy crawl, which was, you know how I said we were having trick-or-treaters on Saturday, for downtown, like the business area. And then on actual Halloween, we're going to have trick-or-treaters, right? In the residential areas. So the candy crawl started early, really early. Apparently it started before the puppy parade did. So there was literally nowhere to park. Even the parking areas in town, like, where the puppy parade ended, there was a giant like lot that was completely full. All the parking in the streets, which because we're a tourist town, we've like made new parking recently, like made the different angled parkings and all, like basically just to be able to fit more people in. All of them were taken up. We have several like behind like City Hall, there's a giant parking lot. If you go like, I don't know, halfway across town, there's like 2 other just parking areas. All of them were full. Every single one. It was insane. People were dropping their kids off just to drop their kids off. like for the candy crawl and stuff. I could not stop anywhere. I live in town, but I live pretty far into the residential area. Like maybe if I'd had more notice and known that I couldn't drive down there, I could have walked from my house. But A, it was quite a trip, and B, even if I don't mind that, which I really don't mind that, but I wouldn't have had enough notice. Like stuff would have been done by the time I got from my house all the way downtown because it's that far. So what I did was I stalker style drove past there a couple of times, meaning I couldn't get any video or anything. I didn't even have time to set my camera up because the streets were so busy. It was like at the stop signs or anything that was like, as soon as you can go, you need to go. There's no like pausing to set something up, and there was no parking spots to pull off the side of the road. Like not even at the stores. It was crazy how much no parking there was. But I can happily report that I saw, there was a family of puppies that were like a king and a queen and a prince. They were dressed up with little crowns on and capes. Who else did I see? There was a couple of dogs that weren't in costumes. They were just kind of chilling. One was, I think, supposed to be like a movie star or a model because somebody else was following them around with like this big camera thing that they were stopping now and then to take pictures. It was really cute. There were quite a few puppies. And remember, when I say puppies, adult, like Winston in his 15 years, he was still puppy for me. Like when I say puppies, I mean all ages. And that being said, David asked me, okay, so you guys did see the footage the other day when I took him to the like little puppy carnival thing. And I got him to go. He didn't want to go at first because I think, like I told you, we both kind of heal in different ways. And whereas like for me, like when I lost Winston, we had Lindy and Abby. David liked Winston just fine, but Winston was mine, you know. But it helped me through. Like I don't think I would have made it, honestly, you guys, if it wasn't for Lindy and Abby. And David was sad, and he was sad for me, but not the way like when I moved in here, he already had the girls. So like they're his big like triggers compared to Winston. And but then we lost Lindy. Like we lost them basically in order of age. We lost Lindy, and we were both really upset about it. I'm sure David was probably even more upset than me, except I'm more like I show my emotions more. I'm getting emotional just talking about it, and it's been it's been a while. But I have some happy emotion in here too. I'm just getting to that part. I cannot like sit in this chair for some reason. Like the last couple days I've been real fidgety. Anyway, so we lost Lindy, and it was really hard, but we had Abby. Then losing Abby, Abby was like my baby girl because she was the little one. She was David's baby girl because she was the little one. And there were no other dogs to provide that comfort, you know. Now me, I was immediately ready. Like I wish I could share my love with another dog. And I think that would help everything a lot more. I think Abby would want that. And like my healing would have been easier with another dog. I think David needed that time to feel some guilt, because he has been like at the thought of having, I know he likes dogs and everything. He wants them, I know, but, I think he needed to feel that guilt and realize that it would be okay to move on and get another dog. And so he did not want to go to the puppy carnival. And I was like, are you sure? Like, you don't have to cuddle the puppies. Just come with me. And as you saw in the footage, he was right down on the floor. Like, I was seated where you're supposed to be seated. He was right down on the floor with the puppies. And he's very hands-on and playful with he has been with all of our dogs. And he was with this batch of puppies, too. And he was at work last night, and he messaged me. And he said, do we have any plans for Monday? And I was like, well, it's Halloween. So, like, usually we go, like, out to dinner, but we're just waking up. So like out for breakfast. Usually we try to watch like some horror movies around the house or go out if there's a really good one, but we have seen like the ones I think that are out right now. And then we either dress up or we don't. Like some years we do, some years we don't. But we get ready and we hand out candy, and during that time we do like the, you know, watching creepy movies and that kind of thing in between stuff. Because Halloween trick-or-treating never lasts that long, right? Everybody wants to be in before dark now, and like when we were kids, we went, man. My grandparents would like either let us just leave from the house, or they would drop us off if there was more of like a prime location to start at. But like we went then, like that was till houses wouldn't answer the door anymore, pretty much. Like, but it was a different time. I understand that. But, you know, I said, you know, just the usual, like it's Halloween, and like if you want to go get something to eat, or if you want to like go a town over to the new age metaphysical shops that we go to are each like a town over. We just call them the witchy shops. I was like, if you want to do something like that would be good. You know, I'd have fun doing that, or we could watch some horror movies at the house, or, you know, whatever. And he's like, okay. And he goes, have you seen how much it is at the dog rescue to adopt a dog? And I was like, no. And he goes, well, it's this much. And so he comes out with a number. And I was like, you looked? And yeah, he had looked. He had looked up. At the time, we thought that the adoption it varies. The youngest ones are the most. And then the older they get, the more the price drops. He thought at first that the puppy adoption price was $250 plus spayed or neutered, and at this one you have to agree to spay and neuter if they're not already. And then excuse me, and then so he thought that would be like another, you know, like 150, 200, 250, whatever it was on top of that. And so he was like, well, if we each get a dog, that would be like around $1,000. I was like, well, first of all, you want to get a dog? Like, that makes me happy. Super happy. I told you there'd be happy emotions, right? And he said that, you know, he wanted to go look, and apparently there's a form that you have to fill out ahead of time, and he's already done that. So we want to go take a look at them on Monday, on Halloween, tomorrow, as whatever the case may be when you're watching this. And on their website, okay, so since COVID, since 2020, when they couldn't bring people in and all that, what they did was they had you look on their website and kind of like pick out which ones you'd want to see and visit and stuff, and then they bring them out to you. And they found, when this was going on, that it excited the dogs much less to bring the puppy out instead of put people in. So it was a little bit better for the dogs. So that's just a style that they still do. So he had me looking at the dogs today and everything. What was there, like 6 or 7 of the puppies that were in the video that I showed you? 4 of them are still there. There's at least one boy. They're all named like Petunia and Poppy, I think was one. I can't remember. They're all named after flowers, even though there's boys and girls. There's both. But they're there. Now, they were pit bull puppies, and apparently you cannot adopt more than one of them. So even if we both wanted to adopt a puppy, we could only get one of them, which kind of stinks because, like, they're so cute, right? And I think David really had his heart set on one of the puppies. He really liked a certain one, actually, that was there. But but he was talking about me getting, like, not my own dog, meaning, like, I'm only going to take care of this one and you're only going to take care of this one. But, like, when Winston was here, you know, he was mine. He was my boy. He was my companion. And the girls, like Lindy more so, but Lindy was his. And we kind of shared Abby. But he was thinking we might get 2 so they could be used to each other at the same time. We're used to having like 3 dogs in the house at one time. So, but even if we only had 1, like that's fine. But we're going to go look at puppies, and so excited. I have found 2 adults, because I also like the idea of some of these dogs that have had a harder life. It'd be nice to give them the remainder of their years in a happy home. And I found one little boy named Oliver, he's already 6. He's a mixed breed. David was saying he probably only have like 4 to 6 like years with him. So, remember that. And I was like, but those are 4 to 6 happy years. They have like kind of a little bio and life story on them. He was an outside dog for his whole beginning. I think they said he's been there for a year or 2, but for the first 4 years of his life, he was an outside dog, which if you guys have outside dogs, okay, that's your own preference. I personally don't. I would never have an outside dog. Like, my dogs will be in with me, they're family, they're my babies, I wouldn't kick a kid outside and tell him to stay outside. So so I personally cannot do that. But I thought, how nice, like, I bet that he would really like that. And the staff seemed to think so too in their story. And he's adorable, and I really go for it. Like, if you have seen pictures of my Winston, David always calls him the scruffy monster. I go for like the terrier looking, the scruffy looking, and Oliver is a very scruffy looking boy. And I found another one on there whose they named him Soda Pop, which would be cute, but so his story is he has a really bad scar on his back leg, and they said it doesn't seem to bother him, which that's great, but he has the scar because somebody set him on fire and then put it out with soda pop, which I think is awful, obviously, but a little morbid to call him soda pop. Me personally, so I told David, I was like, if we ended up taking him, he's 2 years old. I don't think he would come. I don't really know how that works, because like any dog that I've had has been named that their whole life. I don't know how Winston would have reacted, 2 years into his life if I just started calling him Joe. But I kind of assume they wouldn't. So, I would never not pick a dog because I don't like what he's named. But I'm just saying it's so, I don't know, that's so awful. And I want to give him a better life. Like, I want to take them all, basically. So we'll have to see. Because I also am a really big believer in, okay, you may know which dog you like, but is that dog choosing you? Like, are you guys getting along? So I told him I'd have to just see, if any of the dogs like me enough, if any of the dogs pick me too, and which one it is. And so we'll see. But we're going to look at puppies. That's the exciting news. I'm so excited. I can't wait to have a fur baby again. I cannot wait. But anyway, so that's almost 20 minutes of you guys just hearing me talk about doggos. I got my Hirschner's order in today, which if you've seen the video I posted earlier, you've already seen. I have it sitting next to my table, and I am like staring at, like, this one is calling my name, you guys. It's so beautiful. I want to make something so freaking bad. Like, I'm thinking even maybe like a ripple blanket or something would be nice with this. I really, really like it. Beautiful. And then, speaking of yarn, I did what I said I was going to do. I have not tied them on, but I made little numbered tags so I can put these on the yarns that I got for the advent calendar, so they don't have to sit in their respective little bags. And I figured that way, when we figure out names for them, I can just write, so it'll say like day 2, and then it'll have the name on the back, and it'll be tied right on. So I did that today. I worked on a blanket that I don't even need to have done by a certain time. Well, I worked on one of my Halloween blankets. I should show it to you guys. I'll show it to you guys tomorrow. Even if I don't get it done, I'll show it to you. Also, happy news. I had mentioned, and I will link her again down below, but I had mentioned that Neva from Manic Mama Musing, she is really hoping to get her 1,000 subscribers by the end of Halloween by October 31st. And I gave her the shout out yesterday, and she was at, what was it, like 963 when that started. And she is at, and I see Sandy also shouted her out from Crochet Canada. But she's up to 900. I think she has like 8 to go. So like 992, I think. That's amazing. You guys, if there are 8 of you that would like to check this woman out, she is amazing. She is so sweet. Check her out for sure. Give her yarny love, and let's get her to 1,000 by the end of October. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? But she'll be linked down below. So it'd be really easy to just click on her and click subscribe. Did I have anything else for you guys before I break into my little segments here? I don't think so. So that being said, I know I did it yesterday too, but I am not going to have a creepy story time again today. I'd like to think that for tomorrow's, I'm going to go out to the Butcher Road, but I don't know. That may be just a whole separate video. I'm going out there. I am going out there. It might just be a video in November. We'll see. And I did finish chapter 8 that I have been writing. I was going to have 11 chapters. I've condensed that down to 10 because there are 2 other ones that I feel kind of like need to be written. I think I can finish the chapter 9 tonight. And after I do that, I am going to do the outline for the book that starts in November, on November 1st. Because I feel like the last chapter like needs to be there to complete the book, but I think I could write it later. Like, I don't think anything that I'm planning is going to need the first chapter written, like the last chapter written. So I am foregoing story time again. I'm sorry. I'm glad to hear that you guys have liked it though, and I'll make sure that I have something tomorrow. I'll try to have like a granddaddy of them all kind of one. We'll see what I come up with. I have zero idea what I'm going to do yet, but I will try to make sure that I do. And I have only 2 Stranger Things theories left. So we're going to do a short one tonight, and I'll save that longer one. Tomorrow is going to be a long vlog, I think. But the shorter one that I have, we're just going to bust right into it, and hopefully you guys leave some opinions down below too. So one of the days I talked about how the Duffers had decided there was going to be a spinoff, right? And they later announced the spinoff wasn't going to be in Hawkins. It wasn't going to involve any of our characters. But before that happened, before they said the second part, me, just like a lot of other people, our minds were racing with possibilities for spin-off shows. Like, I thought of so many, and I loved so many others. The Duffers have announced, though, that a graphic novel series is going to be out, and it's going to be starring Brenner and his, like, life before Elle and everybody. So we get a sneak peek at his program and his life, and I'm pretty excited. You know that I'm a Brenner fan, so we get to see Brenner stuff. And my theory behind that was too, Matthew Modine, who is the actor that plays Dr. Brenner, on his Instagram, he has been, since season 4 finale, he has been posting just nonstop about being Papa and stuff with him and Elle, and a lot of like edits that people have done that like what were some funny ones? He's done why can't I think of it? There was one that was really funny. Like, instead of Kill Bill, the movie Kill Bill, he had Kill Papa. And it was, somebody had edited his face onto Uma Thurman with the yellow jumpsuit in the, but just stuff like that. Like, so I'm like, I wonder if he's so on board with this, or I wonder if, there is going to be like a spin-off show, so it'll be involving him. That'd be pretty cool. But that's not the theory I had written down. I had an idea for a spin-off, like another idea, because I know we've talked about a couple. But I would really love to see a spin-off, obviously involving Hopper. That's my favorite subject. But so for those of you who don't know, we know from the show, we know Hopper's backstory was that he had, his real little girl had died from leukemia, I believe. And he consequently got a divorce from Diane. And she's remarried. As far as I know, she's still in New York City, where the little girl Sarah had passed away. And then Hopper ended up with his drug and prescription drug and alcohol problem back in Hawkins. And that's where the story starts, right, for us. But what Hopper was, okay, so when he was young, he had graduated high school. He had went to Vietnam. He did his stuff there during the war. He came back to become a cop, but he felt like Hawkins wasn't what he needed. He got married. They had Sarah. He was a cop here. And then he decided to move his family to New York City. In New York City, he wanted to be like a detective or whatever. And what he did was, like, he quickly worked his way up to homicide detective, which is a pretty prestigious thing to be as far as cops in New York City go, from what I understand. It was like a big achievement for him. He was very good at his job. And he probably would still be doing that now if it hadn't been for, Sarah passing away and him falling down the hole that he fell into and coming back to Hawkins. So I thought, how cool would a spinoff of young Hopper be? Like, following his life and different things that he dealt with in New York City as a homicide detective. I think that'd be super interesting. Not just because it's Hopper, but maybe because it was like, it's the 80s, it's crime in the 80s in a big city. Like, I think that would be so interesting. I don't know. What do you guys think? I will leave it at that and just talk amongst yourselves kind of thing. But let me know if you think that would be any good. My feelings won't be hurt if you think that's dumb. It's okay. But I think it'd be a great idea. Is if you're going to do a spinoff, Hopper would be a great character to do a spinoff with. And then they could have like young Hopper fighting crime. They could have the Robin and Steve detective agency in Hawkins, like supernatural detectives. That would be awesome. I know they wouldn't exist at the same time because the Hopper New York City thing was actually probably in the 70s, right? Because he was back in Hawkins by 83 and he'd been there for a few years. I think I timelined it out and I believe he came back to Hawkins in 79. So it'd be like New York City crime in the 70s. Like, that'd be so cool. Anyway, that is my Stranger Things theory. I took up a lot of time talking today, you guys, a lot. But it was big news. So I have my 2 countdowns, my 13 days till Halloween now. One of which is the Advent calendar, which is a Stranger Things Advent calendar yarn. And one of which is my gift exchange with Courtney, who is Fiberfox Studios. She's also always linked below until the end of the month. Until the end of the month at least, sorry. And she did her video today and she opened up like 3 days worth of presents because she got her voice back today. Yay, Courtney. So if you want to see the stuff that I've got her, you can now catch up on what that is and go check out her channel and show her some Yarny love. But I have today's present, which is day 12. And this one has a face, but she's been getting a lot of the stickers that have like the faceless portraits and doing the sticker number in there, which I think is ingenious. But today she just wrote it on Elle's shirt. I love this idea. I have so many Stranger Things stickers too. Like I was saying that I'll probably steal that idea. You guys at Christmas expect Stranger Things gift tags. All right, so let us open this up. What is this? Crazy head pencils. Look at, it's a witch. It's a creepy looking witch. I like it. And her black kitty. Oh, And I was wondering what was so squishy. She stuck it in a mailer envelope. They almost look like knitting needles. They're pencils, but they almost look like knitting needles, don't they? Oh, they're like real, like bark on a tree wood, like real wood. That's awesome. Let's see if I can get one out of here relatively. Can I get them both out of here relatively easy? Let's find out. Oh, this one's even called the Wicked Witch and her black cat. Oh, she's creepy looking. I love this. Look at her. The Wicked Witch. Isn't she adorable? I'm like, look how big these pencils are. Oh my gosh. So I could totally knit with these. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't, but here's her black cat. I love these. These look handmade. Are they handmade? Let's see. The Wicked Witch, Crazy Head Pencil, Black Cat. Made in Thailand. I guess they're probably, I guess they could be Thailand handmade. Our eco-friendly pencils are made from the branches of the tamarind tree after the fruit has been harvested. The Crazy Head pencil is composed of reclaimed rubber wood and is painted with safe, non-toxic, water-based paint. A great idea or decoration for your desk. Thank you, Courtney. I love these. Aren't those cute? So that, like I said, that was my gift from Courtney, and if you want to see what I got for her, head over to her channel and take a peek. Thank you again. And then the last thing that I have for today, so I can get back to writing. Thank you for the support you guys have given me on that, by the way. I think you guys might believe in me more than I believe in me right now, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. At least I have a plan, right? For if I don't get all the chapters done, I know what's going on now at least, and I can just move on to the outline. But here is day 12 of the Advent calendar. And while I open this, I will remind you that her link, the lady who does this, her link is down below to her Etsy store. And as you'll see if you go there, she has so many different Advent calendars for Halloween, Christmas. She's got Advents for next year. She's also got like monthly yarn dyeing stuff. She's got just a regular hand-dyed yarn that she isn't naming them. So that's why I am recruiting you guys' help in what to name them and why I made tags to write those names on. Because my brain doesn't work that way. I need to have some sort of, like this is the Demogorgon color or whatever. So we're going to name them. Here is today's color. Oh, that's pretty. So we have it's hard for me to get there we go. We had one that sort of looked like this, but this is like grays and then pinks and purples. I'd say it's probably got more pink and more of a corally pink and some more purple in it than the other one. The other one, I think we were talking about it being like a My Little Pony or like an Erica colorway. It was suggested something about nerds, which I liked because Erica called like Dustin nerds and his friends. But this one is pretty similar also. Is there anything in particular that you guys think of when you see this? I've been quite stumped on some of them. I don't know, but I think back here is more accurate. So I'll show you close up in a second, but it does wash it out. Like here is the basic coloring of everything. And then here it is closer up. And it makes it a little more washed out, but you can see like the striping anyway on it. So what do you guys think? I'm very open to your ideas. Let me know. Let me know. I've definitely fallen behind in the polls, but I still want to know your names, and we'll talk at a greater length about these tomorrow. I may just do a whole freaking episode, but but that is today's yarn anyway. And I see my camera just switched over, so I hope that the last little bit is not my mouth moving and my words moving in a different time frame. But if they are, at least it's only a couple seconds this time, right? So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for those of you who have subscribed. We're still growing. 3,020, I think. Yay. Road to 10K. All right. I suppose I should let you go for today. Don't forget that I love you guys. I totally do. And I can't wait for your comments as always. And yeah, I will talk to you tomorrow. So happy Halloween Eve, you guys. Bye.